Right, I'm with Sandra. We're at the exhibition, which is the 100 years of votes for women in politics in Jersey. And we've just had a look around the exhibition. It's a very interesting exhibition. What do you think of it, Sandra?
It's very informative. It's some interesting facts.
Things you didn't know about?
Sorry?
Things you didn't know about?
Well, I didn't realise that Lady Jersey was anti-suffragette. Probably
Right.
I don't read enough of local facts, but I didn't realise that.
But you knew she'd introduced Winston Churchill to his wife?
Introduced Sir Winston Churchill to his wife.
Indeed.
Or his wife to him.
Right.
I think it was his wife to him because they were friends of the family.
There's a list here of about 40 odd women who've been in the States. Now that's since Ivy Forster, since 1948, I think she was elected. She was the first. Now, there's a list of them there.
Yeah.
What do you remember about them? I mean, obviously some are still in the States, but there've been quite a few. They've got this film here, picking up some of the notables who've been there.
Let me just have a look at the list of it. I mean, I do remember a lot of the female politicians, but I don't know of anyone who made a massive difference.
No. I mean, in the Labour Party, for example, people like Shirley Williams were well known, weren't they? Very active, weren't they? Very.
Shirley Williams.
Shirley Williams.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, in politics in the UK.
Yeah. I know it's a bigger pond, but in a small pond like Jersey, it wouldn't require a huge activity.
I mean, a lot of the like Imogen Nichols.
Right.
I mean, she's done, she's well known because she does other things. But I can't
As a political person or personality?
Probably personality,
Right.
isn't it? Who's done? I'm just having a look to see who I would think.
You remember Corrie Stein? Now, she was always very active in different things.
Yeah, but I can't remember, I wouldn't be able to, I mean, one of the latest ones, in the garden.
Right.
I mean, she seems to be doing a lot of things, but not particularly just for women, but she is trying to do a lot of things. Even before she was voted in, she'd got this social activity going on in one of the communities in St. Helier, which she took upon herself to do.
Right.
But I think it's a good idea for women to be in the States because to get the women's point of view across. If
they have a point of view. I mean, the trouble is a lot of men and women don't particularly have a point of view, do they? They're part of the...
They just think, oh, well, just let them get on.
They fill a space, they vote as required.
Yeah.
But this is one of the problems with this exhibition. It's promoting women, which is good, but just because they're women, not because of their particular politics. And I've got no idea what Ivy Forster's politics were in 1948.
I mean, I don't know. All these women here, I've heard of most of them, but I don't know what their politics were.
No.
But you see, it's different in Jersey, isn't it? Because it's very difficult for someone to have politics, a politician to have their own politics, because they're having to mix with everybody else with different. It's not like a party politics, is it?
No. Well, there is a party now, of course. They've actually they've now got a Portuguese-speaking member in that party. They've got a French-speaking member. I don't know if he's a member of the party or not. Yeah. But they've got a Portuguese girl there, Alves.
Yes, but do they reform Jersey? But do they still carry through their politics?
We don't get a party message, do we?
No.
We don't,
And will they keep carrying through the message they were putting out on their manifestos? I mean, I've forgotten what a lot of their manifesto was all about, to be quite honest with you, because they don't seem to push it all the time, do they?
Right.
Like the Labour Party or the Conservative Party in the UK, you do know what their politics are because they keep pushing it and we know what they're all about.
That's right.
But Reform Jersey is what it is. It's
in fairness, they did put out a fairly large manifesto, but I mean, even at the election, some of them were saying, well, we don't have to keep to the manifesto. if we disagree with things. So,
Well, that's right, you see. So,
but that's not, in the context we are today, women or
women.
male, I mean, that happens to, in fact, it was a woman who was actually saying those things, who was actually saying, well, we don't have to keep to the manifesto. But the male-female thing, does it add anything to politics, do you think? Does it need to add anything to politics?
well, we need the women, not from a feminist point of view, but
No.
women do need to be represented. You know, like as someone was saying, income tax.
Right.
You know, it's always the male. You know, it's always the man of the house that's in charge of the income, which that's not right. That's not right, and it shouldn't be. That should change. If you've got an account with the Jersey Gas Company, it's always the man of the house whose name it's in.
But I've been campaigning for years for Jersey to ratify the United Nations Conventions for the elimination of discrimination against women. I've had virtually no support from women, obviously no support from men, but even the women in or out of the States don't support it. A couple of the members have raised issues, but when old Jean was in there years ago, Senator Jean, his response was it's too expensive, as though there were so many things wrong, it would be too expensive to incorporate. Now, 30 years after the United Kingdom, still not ratified.
No.
The Convention for the Rights of the Child, really, it's only been brought in after the inquiry into child abuse took place, that's been ratified.
Yeah.
So it's not the women or the men locally who are bringing in these substantial reforms. I mean, if somebody campaigned to incorporate the Convention against discrimination against women, I would have thought that would have been a valid campaign for a woman to bring, but they've never done it.
But I mean, Jersey is not into campaigning, is it?
Well, they do if there's a flooding of a reservoir on issues like that, environmental
Yeah.
issues, they will.
But I mean, that's sort of once every few years. We've had a few campaigns, haven't we? Like the hospital campaign, but like, well, campaigns, women's rights.
I mean, we don't want to, there are all sorts of, I went to the exhibition they got on, or the discussion that's going on next door in the town hall about the island plan yesterday, and I particularly had a look out. There weren't many women in there. It was mostly men who were doing the talking. There were women in, of course, but it was mostly men.
Well, there's a smaller number of women that stand for the states, isn't there?
Yeah, but why is it? What is it? What? I mean, it's only a minority of people in Jersey anyway who are interested in politics, but a minority of a minority are the women.
Well, I don't want to be sexist. I'm not being sexist, but just generally, you can't get away from it. Generally, women run homes, don't they? You know, they've got. I know it sounds sexist, but women tend to run the home and family. They don't have time to do. I mean, if you're doing politics, you know, politics takes up a lot of time, and it's time consuming. And I would say that they just don't have time for it, personally.
Of course, there are other genders now. It never used to be. 100 years ago, it was male and female. Now there are other genders.
Yeah.
Men can be married to men, women can be married to women.
Yeah.
So that is going to change things.
Well, it is,
in
but
a
not
peculiar
yet.
way. Well, I don't know. I mean, we have had a gay states member who was prominent.
Yeah.
Philip Joseph.
It's going to be a long time. I mean, I'm all for it. You know, I think it's great, but it's going to be a long time before people are going to see it as being normal.
But that section, the rainbow section, they haven't had to fight for the vote, have they? Like women had to fight for the vote. That must make a difference. But I mean, women have been able to be in the States since 1948.
Yeah.
Do you think they've made the impact they should have made?
What, women being in the States? I think so.
You think so?
I mean, looking at some of that stuff there, it was dreadful. They just wouldn't let, and when they did let them in, they had to be home. They had to own a property.
Yeah. Well, men did as well.
But separate from their husbands.
Indeed.
They couldn't be joined.
Well, that's a variation of the income tax problem today, that the man has to fill out the income tax returns.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the latest. That's what's hanging on now. But that's that.
And when they were allowed, it was a man that said, well, no, but I don't really understand the law, so no, I don't understand it, so you're not doing it.
Okay, we'll let you off there. We won't ask you any more silly questions. Anything else you want to tell me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thanks a lot.